Okay, so we have one more thing to discuss, and today that is going to be a topic we were talking about not too long ago in the off-camera section,
Yeah.
which was about the number of game launchers that are out there now, because it feels like you have to have about 10 in order to see everything. Now, there are a couple different things that we need to talk about with that, though. There are the actual game delivery services, the actual ones where you buy the games on those platforms. But then there are also a ton of other kinds of launchers that you can use to organize and then launch games that have their own
Yes.
their own private things.
Yep.
Uh, I do have a couple lists of what people consider to be the better ones. But in general, before we get going with that, what do you have on your computer for
Oh
essentially game
boy.
launchers?
Too many game launchers.
Too many
Well, first
launchers?
of
Yeah.
all,
Mm-hmm.
I do have Vortex, which is a mod manager, but you can use it to launch games. I generally don't.
Okay.
However, I do launch Skyrim from it because then I think it launches correctly that way. I don't know if it launches correctly from Steam.
Uh.
Um, I have Steam. I have Epic. I
Mm-hmm.
have the Blizzard app, whatever they call it now.
Sure.
Which is you can launch games without it, but again, it's easier to just do that. I have Origin somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
which is 99% for The Sims.
Yeah.
um, let's see. I think Ubisoft has its own launcher.
They do.
If you want to use it, I do not.
No.
Um, Elite Dangerous has its own launcher if you get into game.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
that one has its own launcher that you need to use.
Oh boy.
Crusader Kings has its own launcher, its own splash screen launcher when you launch it. It's not like a Steam launcher, but it is a when you open it, it goes up with the all right, here's your little launch thing before the game properly launches.
Right. Rockstar was actually the one we were talking about. Uh, this came up when we were talking about GTA, but yeah,
Yeah.
Rockstar has its own launcher that it wants to sell all of its games through, as well, to kind of be an all-in-one platform for them. Yeah, any others that you have on your bar there?
I don't think so. Um Oh, Minecraft. Minecraft has its own launcher too. For
Of course it
Minecraft
does.
and Minecraft Dungeons.
Oh,
The
okay.
funny part about that is I have two different logins for Minecraft and then Minecraft Dungeons, and it makes me
Sure.
swap between the two different accounts to access each one individually. You can't just combine it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Great. Uh, what do I have down here? I've got myself I've got the Xbox, or essentially, it's also Microsoft, but essentially it's the Xbox Game Pass one. Because that's where I have the Ultimate, so that's where you launch all the stuff through Game Pass. I have Epic on here now, mostly just for the free games every
That's
week.
kind of the only reason I have it too.
Yeah, yeah. It's why I got Tiny Tina. Actually, I downloaded it when Tiny Tina came out because I was like, oh, okay, I'll get that for free. I just gotta download the launcher. I might as well do
Speaking
that.
of that, I saw you had a PC building simulator.
I do. I
Did you
do.
buy that?
I did.
I have it too.
Yeah.
I got it for free on Epic.
Oh, yeah. 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 I didn't pay all that much for it, but it,
No.
yeah. I have myself Steam, and then I have GOG. And actually, the thing is that I do buy a lot of things on GOG, but mostly just because I like the fact that it's DRM free. They also
Right.
have a very generous return policy if you decide that you want to replace things. Their deals are usually pretty good. Sometimes they'll offer some freebies with your games. I got, when I bought, I think, New Vegas Ultimate Edition, they also threw in Elder Scrolls Arena and Daggerfall just because. But then the other thing that I found that's very helpful is they actually have a management thing for the launching so that you can tie your other accounts into it.
Yeah.
so that you can have your complete listing of games there, which is very helpful, because if I just needed to not find a game on any of those, but if I just wanted to launch something, I could actually go on there and see the entire listing for all of them on every platform, and I could launch from there. Now, there are, in addition to that, of several others that they do talk about that are not necessarily platforms for buying it, not really, game platforms, so to speak, like we normally think of, but are there as launcher apps. Some of the big ones that are usually on there is stuff like Razer Cortex, Game Room, Play Night, and I believe Launchbox is another one. That is one that you actually have to pay for.
I don't know any of those.
Yes. It's Game Room, to be just clear. Game Room is one that apparently is no longer in development. The community is inactive, so I don't really know what that's about. There is something called Steam Big Picture, which would allow you to use, emulate Zinput devices with a controller.
Yeah, I mean, that's just something you can get right on Steam. Basically, there's a button for Big Picture mode right there, next to the minimize button.
Right.
I don't use it.
Yeah. What was the funny one that I had? There's this thing from slant.co where it's 11 best game launchers, and they get to the one that's about Launchbox, and I love the fact that it says Top Pro, it's free, for the pros and cons. Top Pro, it's free, and then a con is expensive. It is expensive for a game launcher. Now, now I have to tell you, I think that the Pro might be wrong, because it is $50 to buy game Launchbox.
Jesus Christ.
And
it's its own game, huh?
It's pretty much its own thing, and I don't think I would necessarily recommend it, only because the only pro it seems to say is it's free, and it is not. So there's that. The one that is at the top of the list, though, and I have seen it mentioned quite a bit, is Play Night. It's only for Windows, but it does have things like a pro. The Top Pro is a full screen mode. Has a full screen mode, and also
I don't know how that's a pro.
I don't know, but
I don't want my launcher. I don't want my launcher in full screen. If I want it in full screen, I can just maximize the launcher.
Yeah, I don't ever think to myself, like, I want my launcher to be on the full screen. That's what I could really use. Also, though, open source, released under the MIT license. So there is that, and it also, one of the things that they talk about is, if you have like a Launchbox or something, it uses up a lot of RAM. There are several apps that have tendency to, and so compared to like the 900 to 1 gig that you'd be looking at some of these, this one only uses about 200 to 300 megs to do essentially the same thing. But one of the other cons of that is that if you have a game on different systems, it will just show instances of it in multiples. I know on GOG it will kind of just show you that you own the game, and give you, like, I think they'll give you, like, launch options. Additionally, there's a Radeon and GeForce have their own, like, experiences.
I know GeForce experience you can use as well. Again, why?
Right, exactly. And obviously, you have things like, the ones that are usually up here are GOG and Steam for actual platforms. But I think my biggest complaint is, I don't know why we need so many different, like, essentially platforms on the PC. I thought one of the biggest complaints that people had about the consoles was the very fact that you had console specific games, and so what this has opened up is the ability to have console specific games but for the PC. We saw that with releases for, like, the Epic Store, where it was exclusive to Epic. They did this for Borderlands 3, and I think that they're going to be doing it for Wonderlands.
And I just bought Borderlands 3 because it was 75% off.
And that was on Steam because it is now past the exclusivity date.
Yes.
Yeah. which is great. There's more of those that are going to be like exclusive deals for certain systems, and then they're going to become, generally available a year afterward because some people threw a lot of money at it, and so here we are. And so I don't really know if I like that, because I kind of feel like PC games is just a general thing, shouldn't have to be gate kept like that through certain apps. And you can kind of see this too when they were talking about this not too long ago. People were, but that there were a lot of people that were the PlayStation fans that were upset because the some games like Horizon Zero Dawn or God of War were now going to also be on the PC. I don't know why, because well, the comments that came back were like, I guess Sony doesn't care about the PlayStation fans. Like, dude, you still have the game. It's just that they're opening it up to another market. I don't really have a problem with that. I have more of a problem with limiting your market.
Yeah, that's not good for sales of your game.
No, it really isn't. But also the problem I have with like the exclusivity is if you think about things like Marvel's Avengers, where, if you want to play the Spider-Mans, you have to have the Sony, you have to have the PlayStation. You don't get that. You have less content on other ones because you now have exclusivity on certain platforms. But I was not looking for that kind of relationship when we got to the PC. I didn't want that to happen when we got to a PC, because we had kind of solved this problem back when we just had the discs. You just put the disc in, and it didn't matter what you had on your system, just that your system could run it.
The issue now with discs becomes, like, when your consoles, is that, you've got a disc, but you still need the disc to download another 100 gigs of data.
Right. What they've turned the discs into is essentially a passcode, a passkey, so that you can get the game downloaded. I have noticed, though, with a lot of games, especially the ones that usually take up a lot of storage, is that the game disc does serve as part of the overall, load, essentially, for the giant gigawad that spawned into your thing. Because, like, Borderlands 3, I have that one on my Xbox One, and that particular one obviously is not taking up nearly the kind of gigs that it would if I downloaded it on PC, and that's because I have the disc itself. So the disc does actually serve as part of it, but as time goes on and they do all of the patchwork and the additional DLC, it starts to also become a giant cluster, and I need to have the disc for it. I still like my discs. I guess that's the thing. I do worry a little bit about physical media going away, kind of like what you were talking about earlier, though, with, like, I can't get the original Skyrim that you used to have.
I mean, can't on Steam, but...
Yeah. But that's the thing, is like, well, if they pull it from the store, can I buy it again, or can I download it again? I worry a little bit about that. If I had a disc in my hand, at least I know that I can pop a disc in, and I can play it. There are a lot of games that, get kind of like lost in the shuffle, or get, taken off of Steam. I guess in Definitive Edition's case, that was probably a good thing. But I think they came back. They should be fine. But I don't know. How many launchers do you think we actually need? Like, which ones are really necessary for us, considering what we're looking at?
I mean, 2 or 3 max on PC. I mean, I get Epic is trying to be a different storefront than Steam, and they're actually better for creators on the monetary end. They give them a better cut.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. Steam offers way more games and offers it to indie games and smaller titles, which is really cool as well. And
Hmm.
then I think, Microsoft has two now. Microsoft has two because Origin is Microsoft, I believe. Isn't it? Or is that EA?
That's EA Origins.
EA doesn't need their own because they offer their games on Steam now, anyways.
Yeah, and also EA Play.
Oh, yeah. No,
There's
fuck that.
EA
Ubisoft
Play.
doesn't need their own because I don't care.
No, because Ubisoft is going to be because Ubisoft also has their games on other stuff too.
Right. And then Minecraft, again, I guess Minecraft is its own standalone thing. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
I can only imagine the reason why they're doing it is probably monetary cuts. Obviously,
Probably.
I'm sure that they pay less if they're doing it. Well, they probably keep everything actually if they have their own launcher than if they go through like a Steam or something. But then again, how many people are really going to go? How much time do you have to spend to actually maintain and update that? You have to have servers for that. You have to keep the site going, and how much money are you really getting out of that process?
Yeah.
I just feel like you're better off going with a system like if you want to do an Epic deal, they'll pay you good money for an exclusivity.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah, that's why everybody takes it. Um, or Microsoft. Microsoft will pay you good money for basically buying your company so that you can develop exclusively, like they did with Obsidian and Bethesda, etc. Um, and there's those games aren't necessarily exclusive yet, but just wait uh, to consoles. Um, so there's that. But again, I don't really like the idea of doing those exclusivity deals or trying to, keep it from one storefront over another because you get into a console war that we didn't really ask for because we didn't think we'd have to deal with this when we got to
Right.
PCs. So I'm kind of concerned about that, to be honest with you, because I can see this going in one of those directions where everybody just creates their own bespoke uh, launcher for every single game, and it's like it's too many launchers, guys. It's just
Too many launchers.
and it loses the too many launchers. It loses its efficacy because then no one's going to go to a centralized hub to find games. They're just going to
Yeah.
be going to this place because, well, I want to play Minecraft. Okay, we'll go there, but you're not going to discover anything new when you go
Right.
to the besides Minecraft and Minecraft Dungeons. Is there anything else on the Minecraft launcher?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay,
I will say, one thing I love about Steam is the fact you've got all the user reviews.
yes.
And I don't really use a lot of the Steam community stuff, but the reviews on Steam games. And the fact you can see those ratings, mostly negative, positive, whatever it is. You see how many reviews are, and you can go through and read those is nice.
Oh yeah.
Epic, on the other hand, doesn't have anything like that.
No.
And Epic does not have. You don't just go to like a game's page. You click on the button on Epic and you launch a game. All that they
Mhm.
have is a store page.
Yeah.
So one of my games on Epic updated recently, and I'm like, where do I find the freaking notes? Where do I find patch notes for what this game just updated? And it doesn't offer any of that on Epic.
No.
So the way I found it is I launched the game, then the game itself on the title screen had the stuff for it, but it's like, if I just want to read your patch notes, I don't want to launch your game. I want to see what the changes were. And Steam does a good job of this generally, because I know it's not on Steam, but it's developers who do it. But it's all generally on their page, and it's in your news for games. So I'll be
Right.
like, oh, all these games have updates that just happened, and I can click on the game title, and it'll bring me to the page, or it'll bring me to the patch notes, and I can just read through the patch notes.
Mhm. Mhm.
And Blizzard is actually fairly, I mean, Blizzard's still in hot water, but Blizzard is actually decent at their patch notes being there as well.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that's the thing for me. I want to be able
Right.
to see the changes that have come to the game, especially a game that I buy in, if I buy one in early access or something,
Yeah.
and it's like, all right, things need to be fixed before I want to play you. Let's see what you fixed so that I can see if I want to try and play you again.
Right. I would say that, like, usually, like, Xbox, Game Pass, Microsoft, they're usually good. They will have reviews. they will have user-generated reviews. You have to own the game to do a review. I think Steam is the same basic policy. GOG also does user reviews. You can see those. What I will say is a little annoying, though, is if you are getting a game for Xbox and you see that there's a giant update, they don't, in similar fashion, they don't tell you what really is getting updated.
Yeah.
I have to go onto a website to then find out, what is this giant download that they did, and what does that add? Because I want to know. So
that is the one thing I do hate when a game on Steam updates, even a small update, and there's no patch notes, and I'm like,
what was it?
What is this?
What's this
What
thing?
is this 20 megabyte update? What did you do? What did you change? What did you fix?
Oh,
let me know.
They had an update for Psychonauts 2 not that long ago. That was 20 gigabytes. And I was like, and what is that? And I had to go on a whole site to find out. We added arenas, and we added some other mods, the auto spot, which is a whole filter. If you're trying to find all these collectibles we put throughout the game, but they're a little hard to find, there's one that heightens it. There's a mode where you can actually see it in clear detail in the camera mode and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I guess now I know that, but geez, just throw that right in my face. Right. Everspace 2 had a giant one like that too, not too long ago, and it's like, oh, cool. Is that mostly content? And I found out that some of it is, but it's also a lot of bug fixes and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of optimization stuff.
A lot of optimization stuff, which they got to fix, because I got to be honest with you, on the version that I have, there's supposed to be a gate that takes you to another system, the new system. Every time you destroy one of the crystals that you're supposed to do so that you can unlock the gate, game freezes every single time. You can't get there. And they know about the problem, and I'm sure now I know what the next patch better be. If they do, better be something for that. But yeah, when I see the giant content updates, Borderlands 3 actually had one too, I wonder, especially those, okay, there's got to be something new, something big that I'm missing here that I should be aware of. And if you haven't just outright told me. So in an ideal launcher, I want to know what the updates are. I want something on the page that tells me when you have that giant update, this is what got updated this day. Those are the notes. You could put them somewhere that I can get to them. I want a shopping cart.
Yes.
Epic. Why is this so hard?
To be fair,
yeah,
Steam needs to do a better job too, because if you're buying gifts for people,
you can either do the gift or you can do it for you, but you can't do it both.
You can't, yeah. and it's if you put multiple things in your cart, I don't know if you can do multiple gifts all at the same time.
Yeah, they don't make that very easy to figure out.
Yeah. So Steam, you can do better too.
Yeah, they all can. There are criticisms that you can make. GOG has one problem as well, which is just the way that they lay things out so that you can do your individual modifications and stuff like that. How you launch modded versions of games and stuff, it's all kind of hidden away. And I did find that if you're going on Xbox, what they'll want to do, this is a very specific problem, but if you have linked your Xbox account, your Game Pass account, onto your GOG, they'll show you all the games for your Game Pass, but that doesn't mean that all of them can actually play on the PC.
Yeah.
So it will show you all of these games, and then you'll go to most of them, and it will just kind of go, no, you have to play this on your console. Well, then why are you showing it to me? I would like this to be a little bit clearer. I'd like to, and I know they're trying to do that just as a convenience, but still, it doesn't feel very convenient when I'm going, oh, maybe I can actually play these games on this system. No. Sorry, you can't. And for that matter, Xbox, I would really like more of the Play Anywhere titles, which, in case anybody's wondering, Play Anywhere, Xbox Play Anywhere is basically, if you have a game on the Game Pass or you happen to, own it, you can move your game with save data and everything, play it on your PC, play it on your tablet, play it on your Xbox. You can just load your game up on another platform and hit the ground running right where you are. You don't have to start a new game, anything like that. You can just keep going with your... very, very handy, because you don't lose any of your progress. You know exactly where you are. You can keep your achievements and everything like that. But they don't do it enough, and they really have to do it better. So, yeah, I'd also like stability, and I'd also like to make sure that you could use your damn controller on any of them.
Oh my god. Yeah. We just had that issue
with the Epic Store, right?
With Epic, because they don't support the PlayStation DualShock controller.
Yeah. Why? Yeah, who knows?
Don't know why.
Yeah.
But they don't support it natively.
Mm-hmm.
Steam does. It supports Xbox and Steam controller and PS4 controller or PS5 controller, probably.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, so you'd have to play this game with keyboard and mouse. I'm like,
yeah.
Thanks, Epic.
To be fair, I don't think that the Xbox launcher has the support for PS controller. Just
I mean, that's
system specific.
Fine though. That's system specific. This is on computer.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I have not run into that problem with GOG. I think they have support for other kind of controllers. I'm just using the Xbox. But I haven't run into those problems, unless it's a specific game that doesn't like it.
Yeah.
But, and I have found a few of those, but it's few and far between. Anyway, I think the general point is that it seems like there's a lot of launchers, and I can't point to a single one of them that just does everything correctly. They all seem to have these quirks about them that just make you want to use something else to as a workaround.
So, you know what the point here is, we need to just make our own launcher.
We'll make a Total Pebble Knockdown launcher.
Yeah.
We'll make the we'll call it the Knock Launcher. We'll call it
we'll call it Trebuchet.
Trebuchet. Perfect. Yeah, that's good. Trebuchet. People love trebuchets.
Exactly. They're the superior siege weapon.
They are the superior siege weapon, and
that way
so cool.
And you can use them to launch your games.
That's right. You can use them to launch your pebbles of games. I want to rock. You know what? The thing is, though, if we make Trebuchet, the only game you can play is Rock of Ages. It's just the Rock of Ages collection. They have their own bespoke launcher, and it's Trebuchet.
Right? Yeah.
So anyway, hey folks, if you want to see if we can do Trebuchet and make that make that game launcher that we always dreamed of, and we'll try to do a good cut for the game creators, especially the indie game market. I feel like they're the ones that kind of have a give-take when it comes to the launchers, because they do have to shell out a pretty sizable percentage to some of them. But at the same time, like I was saying, with all the bespoke ones like Rockstar and stuff, there is no visibility for indie market games.
Right.
Like you have on those big platforms where people might actually be able to see you at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a big cut. I think Steam was like something like 30 or so percent for it's a chunk.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. But anyway, we are wondering exactly what you out there in the world use. If you happen to know, please check us out on Discord. Come and join the conversation. I'd be interested to know if you have one that we didn't mention here that you might want to tell us about. How do you launch your games if you're working on PC, or if you have one of those Macs that I used to use? Remember those? Once upon a time. You can use Steam on Mac, though. You can use Mac, Steam
Semantics.
or GOG. But if you're on Mac, PC, or if you really like those Linux, if you have a system that you prefer, you just let me know. We'll be over on Discord. We'll continue the conversation there.